Welcome inside our New York studios. Brent Stover, Kevin Carter, and Beanie Wells. Over on CBS Saturday, huge game for both Oregon and Iowa. The Ducks entering action 7-1, 4-1 in the Big Ten. A loss here, though, could certainly make their path to the playoff much tougher. Other side of the field, a win by the 20th-ranked Hawkeyes, no doubt, would strengthen their resume in a huge way. This one in the rain, elements in Iowa City, everything you could walk there. In early November, it's 2-0 to start. Ducks able to get some offense going. Dierre Hill Jr., a punishing touchdown run, 19 yards, 9-0 Ducks. Iowa looking to answer. Mark Gronowski takes a shot down the sideline, connects with Jacob Gill, 38 yards, and that would take it down to the 3-yard line.
Very next play, Gronowski finds a wide open DJ Vonamy for the easy score. Hawkeyes down 9-7. Second half, Oregon lead 12-7. Dante Moore calling his own number, has a little running room. 49-yard run that leads to an Oregon field goal, puts the Ducks up 15-7. Fourth quarter, Iowa down 15-10 on 4th and 3. Gronowski connects with Reese Vanderzee over the middle, 15 yards and a first down. Hawkeyes moving the chains.
Later in the drive, a QB draw. Gronowski walks into the end zone. Hawkeyes take a 16-15 lead. Gronowski, 12 rushing touchdowns, most by an Iowa quarterback ever. And Dante Moore throwing it down the sideline and Malik Bisson. Look at the window he picks this ball in. What a perfect throw. And then from 39 yards out, Atticus Sappington nailing the game-winning field goal to seal the deal for the Oregon Ducks. They survive this game in Iowa.
They've won 38 straight now against unranked teams, second longest streak in the FBS. 8-1, 5-1 in the Big Ten. Dante Moore only 13-21 for 112 and a pick. Gronowski 10 of 18, 138 and 2 total touchdowns. So let's start right there. And Beanie, I want to begin with you because you made the point right before that game-winning drive for the Ducks. You were saying, wow, the narrative of this game, somehow, some way, is that despite giving up a ton of rushing yards, Iowa, Mark Gronowski just won this game on the strength of his arm. Who saw that coming? But how quickly narratives can change in the final seconds.
It's no question about it. You know, if you would have told me that Mark Gronowski was going to drive the ball downfield using his arm, put in position to take the lead, and them to go on and win this game, I would have said you're lying completely. But it didn't happen, obviously, so you were lying. But the fact that, you know, Gronowski was able to step in and deliver in big moments, and it was on his defense, Iowa's defense, who didn't hold up down the stretch. This game was a slugfest. You know, it went back and forth, left and right. And then when you had to make a play, Dante Moore was able to do that when his team needed him to do it the most. I mean, in this football game, they stopped throwing the ball because the pressure Iowa was able to get on him, forcing him in bad situations to have turnovers. But nonetheless, Oregon was able to hold it out with their strong rushing games, 260 yards on the ground. What a performance by them, because no one believed that Oregon can get into a Big Ten-style dogfight in mano-a-mano and out-physical a football team, and they were able to do it today and prove it to the world.
Yeah, I had to adjust my expectations for this game kind of coming in, because the way that I was looking at Oregon, I was like, I'm thinking of them as like a, you know, this is the leftover Pac-12 team, right? They're not quite built to do this. But I'm like, wait a minute, Oregon is in Eugene, Oregon, right? The weather's pretty inclement there at this time of the year. So, and looking at how Dan Lanning's team has been put together this year and how they've been winning their games, they're a little more physical than they get credit for. So going on the road to Iowa, I thought that they would be up for the challenge, but I know that they would have to accept it, and accept it they did. To your point, Beanie, 261 rushing yards to 101. That, to me, you win the ground game domination, the comparison, direct combination. This is strength on strength. Oregon Ducks took it to this defensive line. Dante Moore +1 in the run game, but those two guys in the backfield were getting it done. The offensive line did a masterful job creating holes, and they sustained the ball. They kept control of the pace of the game. They limited everything that Iowa was able to do. Now, Iowa, surprisingly, the strength of Gronowski's arm, saw him walking into the end zone at the end of that drive, but he got down the field 66 yards on 4 different passes. He did that with his arm. So surprising narratives changing in this one, but hats off to how Dan Lanning's team went on the road and got this done late in conference play. This is the time you have to stand up and be counted. This is the time when you have to stake your claim on a possible conference crown. And man, Oregon playing some of their best football. Their only blemish on their record He's to Indiana.
How about Noah Whittington, 118 of those 261 rushing yards. We showed you Gronowski on his final drive, 4 of 666, but he got outdone there by Dante Moore, again, who had pedestrian numbers for the game. But Beanie, final drive, he comes alive, and you talked about it in the highlight. It was those tight windows, completing tough passes, 5 of 7, 47 yards to set up the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, big-time players make big-time plays. We always hear that phrase, but he really stepped up in the most critical of moments. When his team's back was against the wall, he delivered. That's what you want out of a quarterback. I'm not gonna be rattled in the game. Yeah, things weren't going his way in the first half of this football game, and heck, down straight through the third quarter. But the fourth quarter, final drive, this is when big players step up. Guys that can lead a team, they go out and make the plays that need to be made. And this proved that, in my opinion, that Oregon is a championship caliber football team because they find ways to win ugly games.
The proof is in the pudding, okay? You have to basically, in those moments of truth, so to speak, you got to either make the play or not. And to me, to your point, Dante Moore was the guy in that moment. It wasn't too big for him. He was poised, he was calm, cool, and collected, made the necessary throws, and set up the game-winning field goal. See, this is a team effort, complimentary football, but you got to love the way this team responded. So, look, I played with a few great quarterbacks in my time, and that was the one thing. When you've got a dude over there and he gets the ball in his hands with time left on the clock, when everybody has that feeling that we're going to get it done, this is what Oregon fed off on that last drive to win this game.
You both played with one of the greats of all time, Kurt Warner. You had him at the start of his career. You had him near the end, and he was impressive at both ends. For Oregon, it's home against Minnesota, then it's home against USC, then on the road against Washington. They have a clear opportunity here to run the table the rest of the way. Beanie, you were the 6th all-time leading rusher in Ohio State history. Had a nice NFL career as a running back. Went for over 200 in a game at the Big House. The reason I'm buttering you up is I need you to explain why late in the season, in November, having a great running game on the road in a conference game is so important.
It matters. I mean, the game is going to get more physical the later you go into the year. It's going to be cold in some environments. So teams are not going to want to tackle, but you're going to have to run that football. You're going to have to win the line of scrimmage. A couple of things that you're going to have to win a championship. You're going to have be able to win a turnover margin, have to have a tough defense, and you're going to be able to have to run the football on a consistent basis. So that's going to be critical for Oregon down the stretch. Now, these teams that they're going up against, it won't be easy. USC is a tough football team, and Washington, although they took a loss, they're a tough team as well, and they're going to play them tight because that little rivalry there out west is definitely intact.
To win games at this time of the year, you want to be running the football. Football hurts. And to your point, no one wants to tackle it at this time of the year. So if you can impose your will from a physical standpoint, those are the teams that more often than not are left standing, holding a crystal football at the end of the season.
Still a lot to play for the Hawkeyes. They are 6-3. They will play at USC, then home against Michigan State, then close with that huge Friday game after Thanksgiving over on CBS on the road against Nebraska. So long.